swear to God, we going up like gas prices on Baytane. Tap in on tap out.
Munchie, come on, man. That's where I live at, bro.
All right, keep it whooping.
Let me tell you something about Munchie B, bro. That's on the damn. Cub went to Washington homecoming and was in the stands and walked out that motherfucker and nothing happened to Cub.
What are you talking? We were in LA. You sound like a rapper. We were in LA. Man, shut up.
Cub was pulling up. Nigga, he was the only niggas coming through the hundreds. He was the only niggas coming through our sides.
So how'd you lose your vision? Because I heard it was an internal conflict.
Where I said it at?
I heard it from behind the scenes.
It was internal and shit, but I wasn't getting into detail on what I'm saying.
Nah.
All right, keep it whooping. No, I'm a blood, bro.
Oh, you blood?
Yeah, I'm from Inglewood.
Okay.
Yep.
In today's video, we're going to talk about Munchie B from the Inglewood families. We're going to break down his court cases, his early life, and more. But let's get into it. Munchie B was born and raised in Inglewood, California, and he's from the Inglewood family bloods. He would probably be one of the main faces out of there, and I would say he probably has the most internet presence out of everybody. But let's dive into his first adult case. His first case would be at the age of 18, and he was arrested on July 26th of 2008. He was arrested for 2 counts of carrying a loaded firearm. He would then have to sit for a month, but on August 12th of 2008, he would take a plea deal on 1 count, and he would have the other count dismissed, and he would get 3 years of probation. He would then stay out of trouble for close to a year, but on June 11th of 2009, he would be arrested again, and he was arrested for 466 Penal Code, which is possession of burglary tools. They would give him 24 months of probation and 2 days in the county jail, and on top of that, they would give him 10 days in a program. And he would take this deal June 12th of 2009, 1 day after being arrested. But 5 months later, after taking that plea deal, he would be arrested again, this time for 2 counts of robbery. But as you look to the right, you can see that the offense date is June 11th of 2009, the same day he was arrested for the burglary tools. But if you look to the top right, the filing date is November 5th of 2009. He would then have to go back to jail and sit for a few months. But on February 24th of 2010, he would have this case dismissed. But the weird thing is, on that same exact day, they would refile that case. As you see to the top right, the filing date would be February 24th of 2010. But then 2 months after they refiled the case, on April 5th of 2010, he would have this case dismissed again. But clearly the DA wasn't giving up, because for the 3rd time in a row, he would refile this case again on that same exact day that it was dismissed. As you can see in the top right, it says April 5th of 2010. But 2 weeks after this case was filed for the 3rd time, they would finally dismiss it on April 19th of 2010. But 2 months after having this case dismissed, he would pick up another case on June 9th of 2010, and this time it would be for grand theft of a person. He would then bail out and fight this case from the streets, but on February 16th of 2011, he would pick up a whole nother case. And this time he was hit with being a felon in possession of a firearm. So now he would have to sit in the county jail and fight both of these cases, which would be 1 count of grand theft from a person and 1 count of felon in possession of a firearm. But on March 25th of 2011, he would be convicted of the grand theft. And a month after that, on April 22nd of 2011, he would take a plea deal on the felon in possession of a firearm. They would give him 16 months for the grand theft, and then they would give him 2 years for the felon in possession of a firearm. But he would be able to run that concurrent with the first sentence. He would then parole in 2012, but unfortunately a few months after that, he would lose his vision. Let's get into it.
August 23rd, 2012, I ain't gonna never forget, I was on Imperial.
I guess you get shot in the head really bad?
They shot the car up real bad, but only shot me once, and they shot where it counted at and knocked my lights out. My temple.
In your temple?
I heard it was an internal conflict that caused you to get shot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I don't know where I said it at, though. Where I said it at?
I heard it from behind the scenes.
How many times total have you been shot?
What, like hoes?
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I don't know. Probably it's like more than 10.
Who ran all what? We ran all that what? Where? Who is we? All right, keep it whooping.
But even though Munchie lost his vision in 2012, that wouldn't stop him or slow him down. He would take some time to recover, but right after that, he was back on the streets like nothing happened. He would then stay out of trouble for the next 4 years, but after that, he would catch a case on May 11th of 2016, and this time it would be for 2 counts. 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon, and 1 count of carrying a loaded firearm in public. And 2 weeks later, on May 27th of 2016, he would post a $45,000 bail. He would then fight this case from the streets, but unfortunately at the end of 2016, Munchie would lose his close friend named Red Bull, whose real name was Davion Gregory. This would be the case that Kels from the Stink Team is in jail for, and we also made a video about that. But now let's get back to Munchie's cases. Now don't forget that he was out on bail for this case right here. And as you can see, on October 19th of 2017, he would have 1 count dismissed, but he would take a plea deal for the 2nd count, which would be carrying a loaded firearm in public. They would give him 2 years of probation for this, and as you can see, one of his stipulations would be to stay 100 yards away from Darby Park. And they would also give him 8 days in the county jail, but he already had 8 days credited, so he didn't have to do any time. Munchie would then stay out of trouble for the next 3 years, but during COVID, he would pick up a whole nother case, and this time he would be arrested again for another possession of a firearm. And he was arrested on September 26th of 2020. But like we said, this was during COVID. So as you see to the top right, they would file this case the next year, on April 5th of 2021. He would then have to sit in jail for about 3 weeks, but on April 27th of 2021, they would let him out on his own recognizance. He would then stay on the streets and fight this case for almost a year, but on March 16th of 2022, this case would be dismissed due to lack of a speedy trial. He would then be released that day and stay free for a little bit, but 1 year after his release, he was arrested again. He was arrested August 4th of 2023 at 5:45 at night, but this time, he was arrested out of Santa Clarita, and he would be arrested for another felon in possession of a firearm, and he would bail out for $50,000 the same exact day. As you see, this date says August 5th of 2023, but if you look at the release time, it says that it was 12:26 in the morning. And don't forget that he got arrested at 5 o'clock at night. But luckily for Munchie, he would post the bail, and his court date would be in a few months after that. And when he went to that court date, the DA would reject the whole case. But that right there would be Munchie's last case. And in 2023, that's when he would start taking his internet personality and podcasting way more serious. But salute and shout out to Munchie. I got nothing but the utmost respect for him. That's gonna wrap it up for this video though. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's Respectable Rants.
Hey, Respectable Rants, man. Run that, man.
Hey, no, Respectable Rants. This shit be coming.
He gonna do his research for you, man. For sure.
but